What's going on, guys? Gomes here back again on another MLB The Show 18 Dynasty video, and today we have our weekly roster predictions for May 25th. Of course, always put my predictions out on Wednesday, and then the roster update always comes out on Fridays. This week there will be an attribute upgrade, and of course, as always, the whole point of roster update or roster prediction videos on my part is so you guys can take the course that I tell you to go grab, and then you guys go ahead and make a bunch of stubs in the process. So without further ado, let's hop in and get started right away. And of course, we're always going to start with pitchers, and this time we're going to start in Baltimore. We have Michael Gomes. In the last 15 games, he has a .61 ERA, a 157 OBA, opponent batting average, and then a .68 whip, 17 strikeouts to 2 walks. I can see the walks per nine maybe getting touched a little bit, maybe go up a little bit as well. Then hits per nine could go up a little bit. I don't think K per nine. Maybe just a small upgrade from Michael Gomes this week. Maybe like a 78, maybe a 79, but definitely is going to be on my gold watch. Next, over in Boston, we have a reliever in the form of Joe Kelly, 68 overall in his last 15. Once again, a .69 ERA, 140 OBA, 0.77 whip, 16 strikeouts to 4 walks. I can see the hits and K per nine getting touched. His strikeouts, maybe not too much because he has about 15 innings pitched and about 16 strikeouts, so maybe not crazy, but the hits per nine definitely will get touched. I don't think he's gonna go silver, but I think a nice like 73, a +5 would be a good upgrade for Joe Kelly. Now going over to Houston, probably not the guy that you guys are expecting. No, I don't think Garrett Cole's gonna go diamond this week, guys, but make sure do not sell him yet. He's not going to go up much, but I think once he goes diamond, he's going to at least go for about 10K, because the way he's pitching, he could be going to the point where, you know, people might actually want to use him. But Charlie Morton's going to be the guy we're looking at this year. In total, a 1.94 ERA, a 173 OBA, a 0.93 whip, 70 strikeouts and 18 walks. The hits and K per nine is really disrespectful. That getting raised by 5 or 6 is going to push him to an 80 gold, and that's what I think he's going to get. Probably nothing more than that, just an 80 overall gold. So I do think he will go gold, possibly diamond. Like I said, of course, the Astros effect, they will be pitching deep, so that's a good thing, and there is a chance for him to go diamond this year. Just hold on to him. But Sean Newcomb, in his last 15, a 1.45 ERA, a 133 OBA, a 0.87 whip, 31 strikeouts to 13 walks. The walks could get touched a little bit, probably into the 50s, and the hits and K per nine as well. Maybe like a 78 overall silver. Sean Newcomb definitely on gold watch, man. The Braves, they're probably my favorite team to watch. They are so much fun to watch. But over in Washington, we have a new silver, in my opinion, Jeremy Hellickson this year. In his last 15, a 1.29 ERA, a 188 OBA, a 0.75 whip, 23 strikeouts to only 3 walks. His walks could get touched. It's already pretty high, but the K per nine, maybe a little bit. Also, the hits per nine, I think definitely could receive some love. I'll say a 75 overall silver for Jeremy Hellickson. And then over in Milwaukee, this guy, he's pitching ridiculous, and it's probably not the guy that you guys are thinking of. It's not Josh Hader. It's actually, it's Jeremy Jeffries. This year, in his last 15, 0 ERA, a 0.65 OBA, a 0.57 whip, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks. Hits, K, and walks and strikeouts per nine should all be going up. I'm going to say probably a 75. A big upgrade for Jeremy Jeffries. He's been absolutely lights out. Him and Hader are really bolstering that Brewers bullpen, and they're doing really well this year. And then just 2 downgrades for pitching wise, nothing too big, but we do have over in Kansas City, we have Danny Duffy, currently a 76, a 6.88 ERA, a 296 OBA, 1.73 whip, 45 strikeouts, 25 walks. Definitely gonna go bronze in my opinion. Not much else to be said. And then over in Atlanta, we did have a starter going up, and we have a starter going down. Brandon McCarthy, 5.05 ERA, a 321 opponent batting average, 1.64 whip, 38 strikeouts, 17 walks. Hits is gonna be his downfall. A 321 OBA is really high. I think he's going to go down to a 74, 73 overall bronze in my opinion. Now moving over to the hitters, we start off with Mr. Mookie Betts. He's hitting insane lefties. He's hitting 391 with a 927 slug. And then righties, 357, 706 slug. He's been insane this year. I see a big jump in the power numbers and also in the contact as well. Definitely my favorite for American League MVP at this point. And I'll say he could could definitely get a 90 overall this upgrade, possibly. He's hitting out of his mind right now. Not much else to say. Next, over for the New York Yankees. I clicked something wrong. For the Yankees, we got, where is he? Gleyber Torres. Lefties, he's hitting 304, righties 328, 435 slug against lefties, 623 against righties, 21 strikeouts, 8 walks. I see the contact and power both going up a little bit on both sides. Maybe a silver, but I'm gonna play it safe and say a 74. But Gleyber Torres is looking really good for the New York Yankees, and the Yankees are looking good in general. Giancarlo Stanton's finally hitting. Things are looking up in New York, but we got Jean Segura this year, 355 against lefties, 468 slug, 6 extra base hits, and against righties 300, 455 slug, 3 home runs, 10 extra base hits. And in his last 7 games, he's hitting 414 with a 655 slug. The power numbers are going to go up a little bit, the contact as well. I'll say a 78, maybe a 79 for Jean Segura, but definitely on my gold watch. Just not this week. Over in Atlanta, we have Freddie Freeman, specifically against lefties, batting 357, 679 slug. In his last 15 games, 346 batting average, 576 slugging percentage. I see the contact and the power both going up a little bit. He's struck it out 32 times, so the vision probably isn't going to get touched, but a little bit of an upgrade for Freddie Freeman against lefties. I'll say an 86 overall, nothing too serious, but gameplay wise, he should be a little bit better to use. Over in Philadelphia, we got, of course, Odubel Herrera. He's hitting out of his mind, you guys already know. He's going to go gold this week. 311 against lefties, 361 against righties, 533 and 546 slugging percentages. Not much else to say. Contact and power is both going to get touched. I'll say an 80 overall gold for Odubel Herrera. And then for the Cincinnati Reds, they're kind of turning it around for the second baseman Scooter Gennett. In his last 15 games, batting 375 with the 714 slug, really good. 304 against lefties, 457 slug, 323, 520 against righties. 1 home run against lefties, 6 against righties. I do see mainly power going up, also his contact versus lefties. I'll say about a 78 overall silver for Scooter Gennett. Of course, he is going to be on my gold watch low. And now over to the San Francisco Giants for our last position upgrade. We have Brandon Crawford, who actually went deep on Garrett Cole last night. Last 15 games, batting 412 with a 588 slug. Lefties, he's hitting 295 with a 492 slug. Righties this year, 307 with the 426 slugging percentage. Contact power versus both should be going up both ways. And of course, the same kind of thing with Andrelton Simmons. His defense is really going to carry him, and I'm going to say an 80, 81 overall gold for Brandon Crawford this next roster update. Now onto the downgrades. We're going to start with Baltimore with Jonathan Scope this year against lefties. He's batting 294 and 294 slug, no extra base hits, no home runs. So the power I do think is going to go down. Then versus righties, only 198 with a 420 slug. I think his numbers overall are going to go down, probably like a 77 overall silver in my opinion. Now over in Seattle, we have somebody who a lot of people love to use, Nelson Cruz. This year against lefties, batting 222, 444, and against righties, 231, 440 slugging percentage. But his last 15 games, he's batting 160 with a 220 slug in all. A big nerf for him. I'm going to say probably a 77, 78 overall. He'll still be usable, but that diamond hitting is probably going to go down to gold in my opinion. And another big guy going down, it's going to be Bryce Harper this year in his last 30 games, batting 184 with only a 398 slug against lefties. He's here batting 189, 321 slugging percentage. Righties only batting 252, a 641 slug, which is not too bad, but the contact against both and the power versus both is going to go down. He's going to stay a diamond. They're probably going to be a bit conservative. I'll say an 86 overall for Bryce Harper, but definitely a downgrade in my opinion. Now over to the Cardinals, we have Dexter Fowler. Yeah, he's batting 0.32 against lefties, no extra base hits, no home runs, 195 against righties, a 363 slug, 34 strikeouts. Not much else to say, probably like a 73 overall bronze for Dex. He's hitting 0.32, 80 contact is way too high. Not much else to say, and unfortunately, I gotta put Paul Goldschmidt on the spot again. 130 batting average, 204 slug in his last 15 games since the last roster update against righties, batting 164 with a 254 slugging percentage this year, and only 298 against lefties. I think it's time for him to go down to gold, and I know it seems like I'm just hitting on him because it seems like he's on my roster predictions every week for a downgrade, but I'm just calling it like it is. He's not hitting very well at all, and the D-backs are kind of struggling. But that is going to do it for my weekly roster predictions. Of course, if you guys have your own suggestions, own opinions, make sure to leave them down below in the comments. It's a team game. Everybody help each other out. All we want to do is make some stubs. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like down below. And I hope you guys have a great day. Later, guys. Comes out.
Love is love, and hate is hate. To die is an awesome adventure, and I can hardly wait. Earth is a prison, I need a great escape. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone when I'm up in outer space. You know I'm in my zone. You know I'm in my zone. I took a bite of the glory.